Bonjour à tous et bienvenue à la culture française. Hello everyone and welcome to French Culture by Monsieur Rodriguez. Today we're going to take a closer look at the French culture and its influence in St. Kitts as well as the world and the Caribbean and some major aspects of French culture. So stay tuned. Now, the French in St. Kitts, like we would have discussed before, right here we can see Bastille, mainly Port Zante, but really the picture is showing Bastille. And why is Bastille important? Because we know that Bastille is one of the few places in St. Kitts that has a French name. Here we see an old map of St. Kitts, and let's see if we can look at it a bit closer, or at least zoom in on some areas. We have here the French side, what would have been the French side, the English in the middle, and the French side on the other end. And like we would have discussed before, we know that the French occupied St. Kitts for a time, and then it was taken over by the British. Now, here we have a map of St. Kitts currently. As you can see, where the areas that were occupied by the French before still contain the French names, such as Bastia, the capital, Capistier, which includes St. Paul's and as well as St. John in this area. We also have Cayon, Dieppe Bay. Molyneux is not on this map, but of course, Molyneux is another area. And you can comment down below any other French names that I may have missed. Now we'll have a look at the French West Indies. Now all the islands here are not French, but the ones that are Saint Martin, the French side of course, Saint Bart's, also known as Saint Bartholomew, Guadeloupe, and Martinique. Here we have French countries around the world. We have Haiti, France, Belgium, Switzerland, and all these others in the continent of Africa. Make sure you take a good look at them and make note of those that you see, as these will be in your tests coming up. Some of them, of course. And here we also have a closer look at the French-speaking African countries. Here we can see it says États africains où le français est une langue officielle, meaning African states where French is the official language, and they are listed here. Make sure you also take note of this. Pause the video right here and make note of some so that you can remember them. Okay, let us take a trip to France now. As we can see, the sign says Bienvenue en France. Welcome to France. And as we get to France, the first area we'll look at is Paris. In English, we say Paris, but Paris. Now, Paris is the capital city of France. And of course, I'm quite sure you know what this landmark right here in the middle is. Now, if you said Eiffel Tower, you are correct. Moving on, we're going to look at some famous places in France. Now, I don't know for sure if this is an area in France. I think this was just a picture for the presentation. But to list them, first off, we have the Eiffel Tower, or La Tour Eiffel. We also have a much closer picture of the Eiffel Tower. This is underneath it. You can see how massive it is. We have the Louvre Museum, or also known as in French, Le Musée de Louvre. We have Arc de Triomphe. And like I would have explained before in our lesson, the Arc de Triomphe is a monument that showcases Napoleon Bonaparte as well as the soldiers that would have fought. It has some other attributes. There will be some videos in the description to further highlight these landmarks. Here we have two Montparnasse or Montparnasse Tower. As you can see, it's very, very tall in comparison to the other buildings. We have the Notre Dame Cathedral, or in English we say Notre Dame Cathedral. And like I would have mentioned before, a few years ago it was burnt down. However, it has been renovated and repaired. Now we have the national flag of France. It is known as le tricolore, which literally translates to the tricolor, and that should be that one of those O's should be removed. That's an error. But le tricolore, like I would have mentioned before, we don't use this textbook anymore, but the textbook that we commonly use is called le tricolore. In we have the first edition, second, third, fourth. It goes up until probably about fifth form. And here we have France's national anthem. It is La Marseillaise. I will leave a link in the description below to the song itself. But here you can see the lyrics. And on the next page, we have the lyrics in English. You can pause the video to read them for yourself. Okay? Now, what the French are famous for. The French are famous for architecture, sculpture, winemaking, food, cheese making, chocolate, perfume, fashion. Make sure to note these because they will also be in the quiz, and they are just important things to know. They are major aspects of French culture. Here we have some French fashion brands. Be sure to comment down below some other French fashion brands that you know that aren't listed here. I'm quite sure you're familiar with at least three of these: Dior, Louis Vuitton, Chanel, Hermes, Louboutin, Givenchy, Celine. I don't really know the one in red that well, but those are some famous French fashion brands. Here we have some cheeses, some French cheeses. We have Brie, Camembert, Roquefort, Comté, Munster, Chèvre, Epoisse, Beaufort, Pont l'Evêque. I can't see the end of that one, but those other two as well. Make note of these, just for your own benefit. And here we have some traditional French food. I'm quite sure everyone has heard of this one before, especially if you've seen the Pixar film Ratatouille. We also have escargot, coq au vin, uh, pâte à choux, French onion soup, foie gras. Yeah, just different traditional French foods. Make sure to do your own research and find out some more French foods, and you can share in the comment below as well. And we have another picture with some more, crepe, macaron, courgette, soufflé, eclair, different, these are more pastries or desserts, okay? And here we have le boisson, some drinks in French, le martini, le jus, l'eau, la limonade, le thé, le café, le cocktail, la champagne, le cognac, la bière, le vin rouge, le vin blanc, and la liqueur, right? Uh, just taking note of at least two of these is good enough. We have some famous French footballers. Comment down below your favorite French footballer, because I don't want the comments to be filled up with just footballers, but your famous French footballers, famous French clubs, anything like that. Name of the stadium, things such as those. We have just a little cute map of France. We know that France is located in Western Europe, and as we would have mentioned before, the capital of France is Paris. And here on this map, we just have different areas where they're located and maybe like a little image to show them. So now we have Strasbourg, Dijon, Orléans, Nantes, Bordeaux, Toulouse, Marseille, Nice, and so on. All right. Okay, we're wrapping up. This man here, do you know who he is? He is Emmanuel Macron, the president of France. And just after him, we have the Prime Minister of France, Francois Bayrou. Okay. You also need to know what kind of money France uses. This money here is known as euros. Euros, this is a sign for euros. Here are some examples of what the money looks like. Okay. That should say French currency is called euro, like what I mentioned. And here we have some more examples. Okay. So just further pictures, all right? The French motto, liberté, égalité, fraternité. En anglais or in English, liberty, equality, fraternity. Okay. And that is it. Le fa, the end. And like we have here, be sure to check out the videos in the description to learn more about French culture. And of course, as always, also be sure to do your own research on French culture. Okay? Au revoir. À bientôt.